All right, lost connectivity. I should be good now. Can you guys hear me? Give me a heads up if you guys can hear me. Jimmy, thank you. I'll wait for a few more people to log in. If you guys can hear me, give me a go. Coffee looks good. Thank you. Jimmy, yes, it does taste good. It is awesome. I'm going to go get some more. Clayton, thank you. All right, guys. I'm going to start and I'm doing it completely live. So if something happens where, this is live, I can't change it, I can't fix it. It's just the way it's got to roll. This happens to be actually a customer's knife, so I'm building it live on live stream. I'm trying to do a live stream every evening between 5 and 6 Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it, but probably Friday I'll be able to finish it up. So the way this is going to work is very simple. The machines that I have running through the grinders is going to be super loud. All right. So when I start the grinders up, just put the volume down if you like. If you have any questions while I'm doing it, at least push your questions in the comments. And when I stop and step away from the grinder, then I'll be able to answer your questions. So it's sort of a start, go, start and stop kind of method. Um, all the questions, whatever it is, anything pertaining simple. If you look down below by where it says that little chat line, right next to it's a $ sticker. I think one of them you can give money or you can give emojis or whatever the hell the case is. Also, Patreon, if you. But like I said, I'm trying to do more of the social media podcast. All right. So if you guys were with me yesterday, you know that we glued on these handle scales. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, the video that I made yesterday is now up and running. Okay, so it takes a long time. If I do an hour video, it takes a long time for it to upload. It's already uploaded. You can watch that. So this is the Mark 1 Scout. Starts off with a blank, sort of like this. I already stamped my name. It's already hardened. And then we rough grinded it on the first video, and then we put the handles on it on the video. This video we're going to do on live stream is we're going to get this all cleaned up and ready to go. As you can see, it is extremely blocky. This is burgundy micarta. It looks really nice when it's cleaned up. I took the liberty of cutting off the steel pins. These are stainless steel pins and a stainless steel tube if you wanted to put a lanyard hole. Now this knife in itself is basically it's a field knife, okay? So bushcraft knife, utility knife, that kind of thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get this outline as flat as possible. So the flats, the back, the pommel, all that stuff needs to be cleaned up, all right, before we even get to the rounding of the handle. All right, so this is the loud part. Put my respirator on. Let's see if I move you guys over. So now I'm going to turn the camera around and have some other stuff I need to get to on this side. Like I said, if you guys got questions or whatever it is, just put it down below. I'll start getting to it as soon as I get off the grinders. All right, no questions yet? All right, so all I did was, you can see that, I just cleaned it up. Nice clean lines. You really can't get any further unless you clean it off. It's got to be straight, it's got to be flush, it's got to be square. If it's not square and you start grinding your handle square, you start grinding your handle, it's going to be off. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little contour on this knife. Remember what I said yesterday was this part of the knife shouldn't have grind lines inside the knife. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to belt knock them down a bit because it's a little fat up here. Now, depending on you're going to use this knife. A fighting knife should have more swell in the front and more swell in the back and a thinner handle. But because it's a utility knife, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin up the top. If you want, you can grab up top and get a little closer to it. Okay, so it depends on the knife, depends on the handle. I'm sorry, depends on the person and what the knife is used for. This is a good field craft knife. Going to be doing a lot of wood carving, a lot of cutting, that kind of thing. It is not a combat knife. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is go back straight to the flat platen and then take some of this down and then take some of this down. Okay, again, I'm going to have to turn you around. Don't want to give you my back too much. How's that? Good. All right. Open one up over here. Sorry if I lost some of you guys. I know the internet's acting wacky. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Good. Thanks, Jimmy. So yeah, I apologize. Sometimes the internet is really bad in here. It's not awesome. That's all I can do. So what I did is, if you can start to see the contours that I put in the front, I like to do an oval type handle grip on this. So if I turn it this way, you can see what I'm saying. It looks like a canoe. This is what I call a canoe grip. All right. Canoe grips work really good on utility handles because the palm of your hand is empty. So on these knives, I like to give a really big, thick handle. So when you grab this, it's not fatiguing your hand. Okay. This is made for utility. So you're going to be dealing with wood, making fires, skinning animals, that kind of thing. So I want to give you a little bit less fatigue on your hands. The more your hand is filled up, the less you're gripping it to hold on to it. My card is really good. good for that as well. So as you can see on this, all right, this is the hell is this? Jamie, what knife would you buy? This is the Wingman. I'm sorry. So the Wingman is really thin profile, really thin scales because it's supposed to be thin. It's supposed to be able to carry it in a very concealed or very thin profile. And it's very thin. It's very lightweight. It's not made for big chores. It's made for quick utility, self-defense if you need to, in and out very quickly. This blade's made for more utility use. Okay, so a big handle, bigger grip, nice and comfortable. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use these patterns, blocky hand. So again, it's going to get a little bit loud. So if you need to lower the volume, that's fine. Also, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. The service is a little shitty in here. I apologize, guys. I really do. I have a Wi-Fi booster that really is just wasting electricity. It's not boosting shit. So this method is called the slack belt. I don't know if you can see this. All right, so it's a platen without the backing. All right, and what the slack belt does is it allows me to push in, and that gives me those contours, those nice contours. So I still need to do a little bit more work on there, so I'm going to just change the belts, but you can see how round it's getting. That's what I want. On this knife, I specifically want roundness. I want something that you can grab onto. Like I said, it's going to be a push knife. You're going to have a lot of strength on it. So I usually pick a quarter, but 3/4 of an inch. And then what I'm doing is I'm just leaving a little fat in the middle, and then I'm rounding the edges in here, rounding the edges in here, rounding, and then on the back, I'm just trying to round it over. This one's about done. Let's see if I got a better one in here. This might be a little bit better. May not be better. Let's see. So the way you test the comfortability of a knife is you hold it the way you're supposed to hold it, laid out, and you squeeze it. If there's any hot spots in there, you'll feel it inside your hand. Just grab it, hold it like you're making a punch, and if you feel any hot spots somewhere in here, or at the bottom, then you know that's what you got to work on. Same thing if you did the reverse. Hold on to it, grab it, see if you have any hot spots. Okay. So if you have any questions, just put them down below. I got to get back to grinding a little bit more. This is the dirty part. little more. All right. So it's looking a little bit better. Thanks, Doug. Looking a little bit better. All right. It's got some rough spots in there, but it actually starting to look like a nice handle, and it's super comfortable. Super comfortable. That's kind of where I'm going. All right. So back to the Wilmot. The Wilmot grinder is just a grinder that's flipped over on its side and allows me, instead of to have the pulleys this way, it just flips it over on the horizontal. So it makes it a little bit easier to get into things that I need to get into. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to my smallest wheel. Smallest wheel, okay? So it really doesn't have any of the rubber on it because I have to get inside here. They call it, some people call it a Spanish notch. It's right where the blade and the guard sit. All right, you want that nice and clean. I didn't clean it before, but I'm going to clean it now. All right. What I'll do is I'll start with 120 grit, clean it up a little bit, and then I'll go to the flex belt. All right, that 6 works. Loud. Nice. All right. Do this. Goes up in here. I'm going to go back to my slack belt. By the way, if you're looking for names, this is called a J-Flex, J-Flex belt. All the J-Flexes, they're a little bit looser. The backing on it isn't as hard. And it's specifically made for this reason, so you can use a slack belt kind of either sharpening or finish sanding. Clean that up, nice and clear. This. All right, so pro tip, this file is for chainsaws. It's a chainsaw round file. It fits inside that 1/4 inch tubing. So if you ever got to get junk or gunk inside there, just use the chainsaw file. Works pretty damn good. All right. If you guys got any questions, just let me know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this blue tape off just to see where I'm at. Now this edge is not sharp, but it's not dull either, so I got to be super careful. Now I got to clean it up. Come on. All right, I got an easier way of doing this. Let me flip you around a little bit. All right. back to acetone. Acetone, not acetone. Acetone. If I got any new viewers, just let me know where you're from. Give you a shout out to your state, your country, all that good stuff. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All that good stuff. Acetone. Acetone. You're from acetone? So one of the big things that I find out is that if you keep this tape on for like a really long time, it's very difficult to get it off. Even with the blue painter's tape, I know there's a whole bunch of different tape out there, but I've left tape on for a couple weeks and it got really messed up. Acetone. So all I'm doing is just cleaning it off with some acetone or acetone. Just to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do here. All right, guys. That looks better. All right. Man, this stuff doesn't want to come off. Also, if you guys are working with, this is stainless steel, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But if you are working with any type of carbon steel, don't leave the tape on there. Sometimes, if you leave it in a moist environment or whatever, and you put the tape on it, it holds in that moisture and it winds up rusting the knife. So as soon as you pull the tape off, there'll be rust on it. All right, guys. So I'm not going to show you the hand sanding too long, but this is what we got so far. Okay. It's got a little dings, little mess up, little here and there. So over here, it's got to be a little bit hand sanded. I'm not going to leave you online doing hand sanding. Okay. You decide how much hand sanding you want to do. All right. It's already starting to reveal all the layers. And what I said is I wanted that coffin shape, or I'm sorry, that canoe shape. So as you can see on the handle, it's getting that canoe shape. Now the biggest trick that you have to making this knife look really good is not to have any dings or divots or any kind of weirdness going on with your grind lines. This is a rounded handle because I want it to be comfortable, but it needs to have squareness to be pleasing to the eye, if that makes any kind of sense. Okay. Also, make sure that your lanyard holes are not like, like a bung hole just filled with all kinds of dust and dirt and all kinds of stuff. Use the file, the one, like I said, find a file that fits inside here. Typically, any type of the chainsaw file will work. Okay. I like this blade, this handle style specifically for this knife, but there are others that you can get. Okay, so if you wanted to, different colors. Also, this looks really good. This type of knife looks really good in any type of hardwoods or burr or any type of those type of woods, those fancy woods. Purple Heart would look awesome on this knife, that kind of thing. Also, I'm going to make a Kydex sheath for this, so it's going to look really good. I have a good feeling about this knife. Now, it has a little bit of an edge, but not a lot of edge. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up the video here. I'm going to do a little bit of hand sanding, and when I bring it back, I'm going to show you what it really looks like ready to go before we make a sheath for it. All right. So if there's any more questions, please let me know now. I'll wait on for a couple minutes while I'm cleaning this up, just a little bit more. Also, what I'll do is you can even run this on the buffer. You could also put any type of shellac. If you wanted this to really pop, you put shellac on the handle scales, and it gives it that glossy look. The only difference is when you give it that glossy look and you try to and your hands are wet, it doesn't give you the grippiness that this is designed for. Do you blue carbon steel? What is that? Do you blue the carbon steel of you use it? Do I blue the carbon steel? Okay, so gun bluing. I'll show you some gun bluing. Uh, Where's my gun blue? So carbon steels you can gun blue. So I use InstaBlue 440. You don't have to blue carbon steel. You can patina it in any way that you like. You could use, I think people use vinegar or they use mustard oil, mustard, yellow mustard. Yes, you can also use the knife if it's blued. For me, it, it kind of depends. Like if you're going to use it for food, chef's knives have been made for carbon steel for centuries, centuries. So believe me, you don't have to worry about the bluing if you're going to use it as a chef knife or a food process knife. Just get a carbon steel knife, put a little bit of mineral oil on it. You don't have to worry about it. If it will patina if you're cutting oranges, it will patina if you're cutting lemons or any type of acidic fruits. Um, you can pre-patina it in those juices and then use it. It's not a big deal. All it's doing is patinaing the steel. What you don't want to do is have it rust. If it has rust on it, you don't want that rust to go inside your food. I hope that answers your question. So, any other questions, guys? All right. So, like I said, guys, if you want to support the channel, threeriverblades.com. Go check out all the knives that I have up there. I have a Patreon account. I have an Amazon store. I have uh, Kydex holsters. I make Kydex holsters. All the links that you need are down below. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, there's a PayPal link down there. It's a donation button. Send me $1, whatever it is. I'm going to do a lot of this stuff, and then everything's going to be moved down to Patreon. If you like it, if you appreciate it, I really appreciate your help and supporting the channel. So I'm not going to do this next tomorrow, but I will be on Friday. I'll set one up for Friday where we're going to put a sheath on this thing. All right, and then I'll show you how I do all that stuff. So thank you very much, guys, and as always, please stay safe. Have a good night, guys.